Hello, I'm back again, and I wanted to share about the signs that are pointing to late February and late March. I believe these are the high watch seasons that we should look out. And remember that previously I made a video about the May 24 Pentecost was a very huge marker pointing to the timing, the season of the rapture. Even though right now it's 2016 and the 24 May Pentecost was back in 2015, but actually 2015 is still here. According to the Jewish calendar, the Adar ends in April, around the 9th of April. So, but that time, before that time, I believe there would be a lot of things happening. So, you don't have to believe me, but you could test it for yourself, and I will be posting my Pentecostal chart video, so you get a look, a better look on that. So the 24th May last year was, as I explained before, it consists of the Pentecostal number 7777, because it was on the fourth Sunday, and that was a very important thing to notice. So for that we can work out in the coming days, and so I made a chart. It's a more detailed one this time. So definitely on the 23rd of September was very significant. And counting from the Pentecost to 23rd of September last year, it was 122 days, the counting. So I believe this is a very significant timing, but there'll be more that I'll explain. Remember that I explained about the delayed first new moon sighting, and it delayed from September until October. And so the first new moon was viewed on the 14th of October. So this created a very interesting misalignment of the calendars. And so now we got the Tishrei that's supposed to be from on the September timing, and now it's on to October. So why is it significant that it was delayed? Well, I'll explain later how important that is with the delayed month of Tishrei, and therefore it leads to a lot of very interesting dates. So here, as I mentioned, back in November last year, it was a 7-11 pattern that happened back in November because of the delayed new moon, the first new moon. So therefore the Tishrei landed during November, and the number 711 is a very important number because back in Genesis chapter 7 verse 11 it described about the flood, and it this number, this kind of Islamic calendars, I believe it's a very unique thing, because it really sets a huge marker to 2015 as the year of the Rapture. So, as I said before, right now it's 2016, but it's still 2015 according to the Jewish calendar. And counting from September 23rd until the 11th November is 50 days of the counting. So, as you know, probably that the number 50 represents Pentecost, and the number 11 and 11 it's a very, very significant number. So later I'll explain about that. And so I'll be skipping quite a bit of details because I wanted to make the video short. However, I'm gonna explain details that most important. So I did talk about the 7777 connection, attaching November with December, because Sivan and Kislev, they're both they go through from November on to December. It's like their relationship was established through the connection of these 2 months, and the misalignment of the calendars really helped connecting both November and December together. And knowing that December carries the identity of November, so December is actually as November, and so November is 11, and December could be seen as 11 as well. So they'll be attached, they're attached together. So I believe that refers to December as a month that's connected to the Pentecost. Later I will explain why December is very important, but this just saying that December is also connected to this number 7777. So and other thing is that back in December last year, it could be counted from December as January, and because knowing January is as December, and therefore very months of December and January are combined. So I was counting the 1st of January together with the 2nd of December. And so it leads into So I was counting until the 53rd day of January, cause like cause January is also December, so both months to me seems to be able to combine as one month. So anyway, I mean, I don't think things are by accident. Like, I know this could be quite absurd the way that it was worked out, but however, I believe it's not by accident to see the result to the 53rd day of January with the 23rd day of January, and to get them into calculation equals to 276. So this was the number that mentioned in Acts chapter 27 verse 37. So because I believe the 276 is a number that really confirmed the way working out like that was like, I think was working. So I'll explain why 23rd January is a very important marker. Knowing that it connects to the 153 explained before is a very important number, because is a number that related to the coming 6 days of darkness. So I don't want to explain over again, but you could review back the videos. So anyway, so the conclusion for 123 would be seen over here. So not only back in December was the 7777 connection, but another one, it was back in September to November. So before I get into that, this thing, the numbers represent the Jewish months, along with the Gregorian months, and so this is the original calendar and the delayed one. And so the 6, for example, that's the upper part of the month, and the 7 would be the lower part of the month, and so it just goes down onto March. And another Pentecostal connection, it was very interesting to see that the number 7, it like there's like 1 2 3 4. So so see the 9 11 again. I think that's pretty interesting to refer 9/11 to these Pentecostal number. Well, I explained before that 9/11 equates to pi, and pi equates to the transformation. But anyway, September, October, and November, that's the 21, 22, and 23 o'clock, and equates to number 66. And the whole Bible consists of 66 books, so I believe that this number represents the end of the end. But the main part of the Pentecostal connection I wanted to stress about would be February. Well, right now we're on to February. So this would be so this actually is 11, and this one is 11. So 11 is also 77, because back in Tishrei it was the Jewish July, right? And so at the same time of the Jewish July is also a Jewish New Year. And when it comes to Jewish New Year, it's also January, the beginning of the year. So that is represented by the number 1. And so 7 is also the number 1, and so 11 is actually 77. And we can see that there is a pair of 77, the upper part of February and also the lower part. The original and delayed calendars. When you see them together, you can see the 4 of the 7 Pentecostal connection that's connected to February. And this is a very huge marker. So I'll explain why it's connected to December 2015. So yes, I talked about the 123. And the 123, I believe, it goes from January to March, January, February, March, as 1, 2, and 3. So how do you connect them together in a group? And I believe that February, because knowing February is as January, so I believe that the barley harvest is pointing to February. So February is just January, so they're like connected to this Pentecostal number. And another one would be March. March is February as well, so that's they're like connected to February as well, and so to this Pentecostal connection. And so that's like 1, 2, and 3 in February would be the main marker. So yes, I explained that about 3 polar shipwrecks, and it's represented by 3 pi equals to 9.424 777 The number 9 represents the September as a very significant month, not as in the Gregorian September, but is in the month 9 of Jewish calendar, and that's actually referred to the Hanukkah, which normally runs around Kislev 25 and so on. The Hanukkah connection's definitely very, very important. So the Hanukkah number is represented by the Euler's number 2.71828 1828 45 90 45. So 1828 is Psalm 18:28. So for thou will light my candle, the Lord my God will enlighten my darkness is actually a verse about the transformation of the bride of Christ. And therefore 1828 is a very important number that's connected to Hanukkah, and therefore I believe we must be watching the boundary of Hanukkah, which I believe points to late February and late March. So what's the reason for 2.7? Back in Genesis 2, the Sabbath day was mentioned in chapter 2 back in Genesis, and the Sabbath day is a day that's set apart, that's blessed, holy, and is a rest day for us. So definitely this 2.7 also refers to February and January, because 7 is 1, so you could see 2.7 is 2.1. And I believe the reason for that would be February and Kislev 2 and 1, right? So 2 in 1, that's 2 in 1, literally 2 in 1 flesh, 2 in 1 body, as Christ and the bride, like transformation, 2 in 1. And it also talked about in one flesh, like verse 24 talked about that. So yeah, 1828, there's like a pair of that, because the first pair will be the barley harvest. The first one. The first one would be the barley harvest. The second one would be the wheat harvest. You know about the difference between the barley and the wheat, right? Back in my previous video, not the last one, but like earlier one. But anyway, so yeah, February is pointing to pi. Pi is 3.141 in short, and in if you read it in the Hebrew's way, it will be like 1413. So that's like we first reading as 14 and 13. And 14 is like pointing to February, 2 o'clock, 14 o'clock. January, 13 o'clock is 1 o'clock. So, cause like, like February is January, so that's like 14 and 13 together. 14 and 13 together. Yeah, it's very interesting. Calendars can be flipped backwards and forward. So when we flip February forward, flipping February forward would be May. It's very interesting to see that the Hanukkah boundary was the Hanukkah boundary is pointing to the 22nd of February to the 1st of March. So why would this be the Hanukkah boundary? Because February is actually carrying the identity of January, so we're actually back in January. And when we're back in January, it actually equates to December. And so December, I believe there must be a reason why it's so perfect with the Kislev 25 on 25th December in 2016. The Hanukkah happens on the 25th, starts on 24th December, but 25th of Kislev would be on the 25th. So, and therefore, feeding the 24th of December with 23rd of January, because it's very interesting to see 2015 is as 2016. So when we see that, we could also see the Hanukkah of 2016 refer to February and March right now. So 24th of December is I just find I was just blown away about the last one, this one, cause like the Hanukkah, it ends on, well, for this year, ends on the 1st of January 2017, and so it would be like 1/1/17. So that would, I believe, also can be seen as 7777. So that's that's the number. I believe that's maybe like Esther like saying like that's the deadline. Like still like it's like a group of the group of the body brides still around this point of time every that harvest gonna be finished or whatever, just so it's kind of like a deadline or something. So it's very interesting to see this pattern also repeats in the late March. So anyway, so you may wonder why February would flip forward a quadrant to May. Well, it's well, there is a chart I've showed before, and there's a very important thing when we see between Jewish calendar and Gregorian calendar together, and so so over here, like so the one I'm actually seeing is this one, like February and like equals to May, because this the Jewish February and this like the Gregorian February, so they have their common ground of the month too, and therefore they equal together, and therefore like May is also can be seen as February. So that's why it's very interesting as well, seeing May 24th landed on the 22nd of February, and 22nd February reminds me of the 2 Samuel 22, and that's actually the same song of, the same context with Psalm 18, and so that's a song about transformation, and so it's very interesting to see 24th of May as Genesis 5:24 linked to 2 Samuel 22 together. So so the time of Kislev is also Tivet as well, and I think this month is pretty interesting because you see like Eve is in the middle, and Tute represents the crosses. The crucifixion consisted of 3 crosses, and the Son of God was in the middle. And like Eve represents the bride, right? And So it's still like Eve is literally, like the bride is literally nailed to the cross. Tibet is very, very important. Why? Because well, first of all, Psalm 18 and 2:7-22, it's 20, because they're like identical chapters. So 22 divided by 18 equals to 1.22 ... And so the number 122 is very important. It's referring to Tibet and the Pentecost, because you know Pentecost is the number 50. But Tibet is also number 50 because Tibet, that's the 10 month of the Jewish calendar. And you know, if you look onto the clock, 10 o'clock is also 22 o'clock, and that direction also points to the 50 minutes as the number 50 Pentecost. Yeah, so because you know, like February would be back in January, along with Tibet, which is the number 22, will be 122, which is also the pi. The approximate calculation of pi is also 22 divided by 7. So, and Revelation 22 is the end of the end. That's the last chapter and of the last book of the Bible. And therefore, Tibet is a very, very, very significant month that should be looked forward to. And we're back to the midnight hour, the Exodus 12 midnight hour. So I believe well, we don't know the day or the hour, but we can know the season. The season, I believe, is pointing to late February. And so the 40 days pattern always happen throughout the scriptures. And the number 40 is very important to be applied to here. So the first call is not the rapture. There's only one rapture. The first call is actually mimicking the pattern of Christ's glorified body after the 3 days of burial, and he was glorified before his ascension. So that's actually mimicking the pattern of his transformation, of his transformed body before the actual ascension. That's echoes to the rapture. So the 40 days ministry also is a 40 days pattern of the pregnancy for the wheat brides. And I just can't believe that it's exactly 40 days, counting from the 22nd of February onto the 1st of April. I was so shocked to see how quick that is. I just couldn't believe how quick between the two Hanukkahs. So anyway, counting of the 40 days would exactly until the 1st of April. And plus the same thing, the December, March is also December when we look onto the clock. So this one would be flip back to the December direction. Just applying the same rule with what happened with February until forward to May, but March is also go backwards to December. So we're applying the same December Kislev 25 Hanukkah boundary, and so that's the second set of 128, and that's for the late March. I believe I'm not pretty convinced about April because like in Song Solomon 2, it emphasized so much about the apple tree, which is the forbidden tree back in Genesis, and the tree only appeared in Genesis 2 and 3, I believe, representing February and March. In Genesis 4, I wasn't able to see apple tree in Genesis 4. As far as I know, I can only see it in Genesis chapter 2 and 3. So the apple tree, I believe, is very important, which is pointing to February and March. And late March is also matching the pattern of the winter and rain that are gone in Song Solomon 2. And it's interesting to see that flowers appear at the same time that winter and rain are gone, because it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really make sense to combine this and this together normally, because Israel's climate, flowers normally appear from February to late March, and winter and rain would normally stop in late March until around like October. So because of that, it just wouldn't make sense that you see flowers and with this thing matched together, unless you see this as a delayed formula again. The flowers, that's the February and to like late March. So March is also February, and that's pointed back to around late February. So I think the pattern fits for late March, because during late March would be a time when winter and rain be gone, and flowers normally not appear in late March because it will be gone, but then March is also carrying the February's identity, so I think that's possibly what it refers to. And why I would prefer March over April, because March is always referred as the Ides of March. 153 is also relate to the IDs of March. Flea clock is also 15 o'clock, 153. But well, moreover, the pi, as I explained that its pi is also 9/11. So the number 3, well, it represented 4 because like it was the number 3 in Genesis chapter 3 that talked about the fall. So it starts with the number 3. So I'm so much more convinced the number 3 is pointing to March. So anyway, it just going back to the same to March. And so I believe late March is pointing to the rapture. Like knowing the boundary without knowing like the day, the hour, I don't know about that, and I'm just going to like to the maximum would be the boundary from the 24th of March to the 1st of April. And so from late February to late March, Hanukkah boundary it's exactly 40 days, and that's led me into looking onto this oil thing, the 1 day oil that lasts for 8 days, the miracle of light. And it just got me thinking that the first day equates to the other days, and so that's how it is counted within the 40 days pregnancy pattern. But anyway, I'm gonna conclude it here. And right now it's already late February, and we're gonna be ready for everything, knowing that the coming of the Lord is very, very soon, sooner than most people expect. But definitely I believe the deadline will be before April the 9th. That's the that'll be around time when it ends the 2015, the year of 2015. So yeah.